Maximizing lifetime value, squeezing as much money out of your buyers as possible. Well, how do you do it? This is nirvana for most people. How do we get the absolute maximum spend out of people? Obviously, with the caveat that we're not just ripping people off. We're selling them things that they need. Of course, we're being very ethical about it. And I mean that sincerely. I know I'm playful, but I do mean that sincerely. But how do we maximize lifetime value? Well, there's literally like 30 plus different ways that you can do it. And I'll pop a link below so you can check out what those are. But in this video, we're going to look at two steps, two main high level things to consider that are going to help you to make sure each customer, client, buyer that you have spends a little bit more with you over time, and we maximize their lifetime value. So the first way that we can do this is to solve more of the current problem. So clients come to you, they have a problem, you solve it, and that's it. But how could we solve more of it? Are there other things that we can do? First of all, let's think about aftercare. Now, you might solve the problem. So you go to the dentist, you have your tooth out, and then that's it. But maybe they say, look, there's an aftercare appointment if you like. It's blah, blah. You can come in, we'll check everything, and blah, 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 blah. Don't have to do it, but it's there if you want to for your peace of mind. I'd personally be interested in buying that because my health's important to me. So that's interesting. So think about aftercare. It could be like we've got with the Lego manuals here. Access to resources, access to things that they're going to need. Once you've solved the problem for your buyer, what else do they need in terms of aftercare? And how can we sell that to them? And notice again, so this is about providing more value to them. If you want to charge people more money, you have to provide more value to them. We're not just ripping them off, we're giving them extra value. So let's look at aftercare. How could we do that? Access to things. And along the lines of access is support. One of the quote unquote easiest things that you can possibly do, and one of the highest profit margin things you can do, depending on your business model, of course. But for most business models, this works quite well. It's just giving people access to support in terms of telephone support, email support, tickets, online stuff, things like that. People want help. They want reassurance. They want to ask questions. I don't know about you, but I don't really like it when you go to a website and you get pushed through an FAQ where you can't even find how to email somebody to ask a question. Whereas if you say, like, here is your package. If you want, we've got a support package as well where you can pay this much and you have telephone, email support, whatever it might be for the next 3 months, 6 months, etc. Would you like that? And some people would. It's very similar to aftercare. So once we solve the problem, you might need access to different things, or you might need access to us and to ask some questions so we can sell you either of those. And it could be on a 1 month, 3 month, 6 month, 12 month, whatever kind of basis, or as a one-off payment. But the point is we're solving more of the current problem by giving them more. Hopefully that makes sense. You're with me. Second thing we can do is to solve the next problem, which makes sense, doesn't it? Solve more of the current problem. Let's think about the next problem. And this is what I call a next step problem. So if I buy a mouse, the next thing I need to buy are batteries or a charging cable or maybe a carry case. You wouldn't have a carry case for a mouse, but you get my point. When you buy a car, the next problem you're going to have is you've got to service it, need tires, look after it, etc. So if you're sorting out this problem for your buyer, you can say, look, most people that buy this, after a little while, they actually need that. So if you want, we can just wrap that together and do you a deal and solve both those things now. Or when you're ready, we can do that for you. We will call you. You can call us. But we're talking about the next step problem, the next problem that's coming up. We're anticipating it and we're being vocal. And we're doing this through the lens of adding value and focusing on our buyer, not through the lens of, let's just charge them as much money as possible and be all selfish about it. And I think this is where most people go wrong when it comes to maximizing LTV, maximizing lifetime value. They don't really know what to do kind of specifically. And like I say, there's over 30 ways you can do it. And I'll link below and you can check out what all those things are. Over 30 ways you can do it. So they don't know what to do. And then secondly, they feel a bit salesy, a bit pushy, like they're kind of being greedy and they're taking. But when you can reframe this from I'm taking from you to I'm just helping you, because if I had a problem with something and then somebody said, look, in about 3 months, James, this is going to happen so we can look after it, blah, 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 I'd actually appreciate the support and the help, to be quite frank, and particularly for on-demand support, access to people on the phone, etc., or aftercare, as with my dentist example at the start of the video there. I, for one, would appreciate that offer, and I know a lot of people would. Some people wouldn't. That's absolutely fine. But if we're not offering these things to people, and if we don't have these things to offer, if we're not thinking about this, then we're not going to sell it at all. It's a bit like, and the next step problem is kind of the embodiment of the McDonald's thing. That's like, do you want fries with that? Do you want to go large with that? Do you want a drink with that? Obviously, needing fries and drink isn't a problem, but it's a need. They're thinking ahead as to what's happening. And at what point, when somebody said, would you like fries with that? Would you like to go large? At what point have you just been absolutely offended because they're just trying to take advantage of you and sell you more stuff you don't need? It doesn't happen. You either say, oh yeah, go on then, because you're feeling a bit kind of indulgent, you want to treat yourself, or you say, oh no, I'm fine, thanks. Oof, couldn't eat that much. And that's it. So if we can detach ourselves from this feeling of maximizing lifetime value is about taking, and change it to, it's about giving really, and about looking after people better, there's a much, much easier way to do it. And that's truly how you're going to maximize the lifetime value of your buyer.